Don't forget me, forget me, forget me. 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 Remember
The brown eyes that I hold in my head that saw you approach me after a show and ask what type of oil is that. Oh, it's a mixture of Egyptian and something fruity, not to be confused with patchouli and beauty. She started blushing, looking like a rose in a sweatsuit. She said, I play your shit every day and can't believe we just met. Bet you get this all the time, can you sign my ticket stub? Her breath was reeking peppermint schnapps, come give me love. Bit my upper lip, got the sucking on my mustache. Press me to the wall, she grinding hard, I'm grabbing much ass. Semen pushing out my penis, now we in private. Fucking the shit out of each other, told her no matter how big I get.
don't forget me, forget me.
So serious. Damn it.
Don't forget me, forget me.
My email, bad phone number.
Forget me, forget me, forget me. Don't forget me, forget me, forget me. Remember
This black boy, all up in your Italian vagina, catching too much attention from your Puerto Rican partner. Lend me your ear, let me spit the lonely broken heart shit. Sincerely, the kidney sympathy, he's on the market, ready for play. What did she say? She caught amnesia and can't recall the cognac or gin and juice either. Man, the weed must have killed every cell she ever thought with. Smoked an ounce and a half and forgot she bought it off of me for $3. Dancing in the windowsill of the motel, yelling out she loves how I feel. She started sucking me. Herb City tatted on her booty cheek. Who would think she would give a fuck what these fools think? Groupies drink sperm and forget who they got it from. Till they sit down and take a shit and play the album. Nothing is real, everything is hush, knock on wood. Now I feel like Kobe Simpson was misunderstood.
These girls will say they don't remember a whole lot. They sat down with you holding on to your car. And you saw her lie there piping hot and all wet. Now that's one night stand, you know she just can't pour
don't forget me, forget me, forget me. Don't forget me, forget me, forget me.
Eat your heart out, Danger Mouse.
Z-Man, yeah, Z-Man, yes, is my guest today on the house list. That's my dude. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Peter Agostin. This is my weekly podcast, The House List. I appreciate you tuning in. So this is one of my several episodes that I recorded while I was in California in early July. So me and Z-Man, if you're not familiar with him, he's a San Francisco-based rapper and an amazing painter, visual artist. He doesn't get enough credit for that, but we talk about that. We go way back. He's been in the San Francisco and in the overall Bay Area scene, rhyming and performing for several years. He's a integral character in that overall community, the underground hip hop community in the Bay Area, because he's been there doing it for a minute. He had a group, started with a group of kind of out of high school called 99th Dimension, which had some really great underground tapes in the era of underground tapes in the Bay Area, which has a storied history. And then we started working together while I was living in Humboldt. And I met him actually through Brandon B of Game Tide Electro and Supermarket. So I've known Supermarket for a long time, and Brandon B and his music is really the reason why I started my old record label, Female Fun. So I wanted to release Game Tide Electro's album in the early 2000s called Paranormal Bar Stars. So Z-Man was on that. So that was the first time I heard him. And then we connected down the line. And then while I was living in Arcata, California, when I was doing my label and doing shows, and I was in college at Humboldt State University, and I've talked about that a bunch on this podcast, I started bringing him up. And then we started doing a lot of shows together. I started DJing for him, and we did some tours together. And we are just good friends. I mean, I consider him one of my best friends as far as in as rappers go, like, we go way back, and we just hung out a lot, and he is one of the funniest people I know, and I love him. And I was so glad that he was able to make time to come meet me, and then we did this conversation in San Francisco, and it was great. I mean, I feel like it could have gone a lot longer, so I'm hoping that I'll definitely do like a part 2 with him later, whenever he has something to promote, because I know he's got a couple projects that are in the works. But listen, if you've never heard of his material before, if like you just happen to be a fan of this podcast, and there might be people that are tuning in that just don't know every single person, that would be very much ideal for me. Then I want you to look into his music. He's done several albums. The one that we kind of started working on when we started working together in a way was really essentially his debut, like, regular album called Doper Dog Food, which I actually was hired and worked as a publicist for, if you can believe that. And it was through Hieroglyphics. They had a short run label called Refill Records. It was like through their kind of distribution arm. And if you haven't already listened to my episode with Tajay of Souls of Mission Hieroglyphics, please go back. It's an epic conversation. It's just a couple of episodes back. Find it and listen to it. So we kind of start there, and we talk about a lot of stuff. I mean, what can I say? Go through his catalog. Dope or Dog Food. That's an essential album. Don't forget to brag. California Brainwash, the opening act. Some of the early stuff, 4 Hours of Sleep, which was predates all of that, are all kind of classic releases. Even he had a major label run as well with this group called One Block Radius, which was a total departure from his own solo stuff. He's also an incredible live performer, and unbeknownst to me, it was funny, I didn't really know this until I did an interview with someone else, or a conversation rather, that he did this whole freestyle battle thing, which I was not even privy to. So I quickly learned about that before we talked, and I talked to him about that a little bit too, because it was kind of an interesting exercise in artistry, because that whole world is totally evolved and changed in a crazy way. So anyway, my conversation with Z-Man coming up in a moment, recorded in San Francisco in early July. And what can I say? If you're tuning in, if this is your first time tuning in, again, thank you. So you can listen to, I need to promote the podcast for a second though, because it's the only way that I can get this out. It's totally DIY, and I completely rely on word of mouth. There's no marketing push here. So it's just me and the people that listen to it, which is essential. That's why the whole month of August, I'm going to be releasing 2 episodes a week for the whole month. Particularly because if SoundCloud shuts down, then I have to restructure a lot of what I do. So I want to get out these really amazing conversations that I do on the strength, self-funded and self-produced just for you. So if you listen on SoundCloud, or if you have a SoundCloud account, go to soundcloud.com/thehouselesspodcast and repost it for me, or copy and paste the link and send it to a homie, or put it on Twitter. I'm at houselesspod on Twitter. So that way I know it's the most easily repostable link. So if you're a fan of Z-Man, if you're a member of the Bay Area underground hip-hop community, or if you just like independent music, if you're one of my friends from back in Humboldt and who I brought Z-Man to innumerable times, I can't even tell you how many shows that we did there during my tenure there. I even brought him out to New York when I was at the Knitting Factory. He opened up for the Alcoholics. It was epic. And just get the word out. Help me get the word out. It's also on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play. There's many ways you can listen to it. Subscribe on iTunes. Rate it on iTunes for me if you can. All that stuff helps because I just want to get the word out. When I committed to doing this, it was just a project I wanted to do for myself, something artistically fulfilling. I don't get paid for it, and I spend my own money making it. I spent my own money flying out there and getting around. And same with DJ CJ Stewart, who edits and engineers all of these episodes too. So it's really a labor of love. And so I just want to get the word out. So thank you. Much love to you guys who listen, because you make it possible by just getting the word out. You know what I'm saying? So thank you again. And, let's get into this conversation with my man Z-Man, Z-Maney. I want to send a shout out real quick to GURP City, to the Game Tide Electro, Brandon B Supermarket, but also Sacred Hoop, all the guys from 99th Dimension, all the people in Chico, California, and San Francisco, and Z-Man's whole extended clique of friends, DJ Steph and Billy Jam, and so on and so forth. These are all integral people of that scene, and it's a super cool, tight-knit community that I have a lot of respect for. And I don't see those people nearly as much as I'd like to, because I live in New York now. But during my time in California, I ran into them a lot. And it's just a great family of artists. So nevertheless, good looking out. Shout out to my man Z-Man. Here we go. Let's have this conversation. So what's up? What's up with you?
Well, let me clear my throat. I can tell you something. What's up with me, man? Just hanging out right now, preparing.
I'm happy that you came out here to meet me for this.
Oh, I'm happy too. It's been a long time. I haven't seen those blue eyes, bluish gray, green eyes in some time, man. Shit.
And it's cold.
Yeah, that's whack part. So,
Is it this cold in San Francisco all the time?
what is it, 60 now or something? It was 70 the other day. I think it's just colder this way, to be honest with you. Like, it's usually, it's 63 degrees.
Yeah, that's pretty cold, because like it was like 90 degrees yesterday.
In Oakland?
No, somewhere.
Shit, hell yeah, probably. Nah, but yeah. Just out toward this way, it's a little, the temperature changes a little taste. You know what I mean? Because it's toward the ocean. But other than that,
What part of San Francisco did you grow up in?
I grew up in the Fillmore district where I'm at now.
What's that?
Western Addition, you know. It's over there near on McAllister and Lyon. Tell them my address. Y'all want to know my social security too? No. But yeah, so I'm over there, and I grew up over there.
How was it like? What's
it's different now, though.
What's the biggest difference from growing up to now? Because obviously everything's changed everywhere. But how has that part of town changed? Because San Francisco is in a state of flux, like for the last 30 years.
Yeah, but it's definitely turned the fuck out now. Like, it's not the same as it was 30 years ago, or even 10 years ago. 5 years ago, shit is like definitely gentrified, you know what I'm saying? Transformed. A lot of natives are not here anymore. We're over in the East Bay or a little further, you know what I'm saying? Same shit, I'm sure, like in Brooklyn, you know what I mean, and all that, and Chicago. I mean, major metropolitan cities are going through this mania shit. So it's different from just, you know, I was in an all black neighborhood before, predominantly black anyway, you know, a couple of Asians and a couple of whites scattered here and there, you know what I mean? But it wasn't the way it is now. Now you're
What's it
like,
like now?
now it's just like full on breads, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, they're just running around. It's a sorority now, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, it's just like, woo, yeah, ooh, come on, Tyler. You know, it's just like, calm the fuck down, you know what I mean? Like, every day, you know, like, but the funny thing is, I remember I was doing a test. I was doing like a test not that long ago, where I was like saying hi to everybody or hello, and you know, to each little
to
person
people in the neighborhood.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Who's there now? I mean, there's still like some blacks, but now we're just sprinkled all over the place. So anyway, I would say I would walk up to people and say hey, you know, or hi or whatever, or passing by rather. And sometimes they would look, or they wouldn't say nothing, or they'd be caught off guard, be like, oh, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, just wankers, dude. You know what I mean? Like, just nervous. And it used to be funny because it was like, you know, it was hipsters at first that we were all making fun of and just annoyed with. But it's not even the hipsters anymore. Like, they're not really the problem once you get to know them and kind of get to, you know what I mean? It's more of these, like, techies and just people that aren't bringing shit to the table. People that just come here like locusts. Like wild locusts, just use up all the resources, get the culture, blah blah blah, this and that, and then they dip. The funny part about these people is I don't know where the fuck they come from.
Are they coming from other parts of California or just all over?
I think
the
they're coming
world?
from all over the world. Yeah, no, definitely from everywhere else. Like, and they're just here in the city. Like, oh, it's gold there. It's gold, man. We got to get it. You know what I mean? Like, we got to get there and get the gold and hang out. It's cool. It's awesome. Oh my god, I can't believe I said that. I never say that. Just-
Awesome?
No, man. I can't bring myself to say it because it's just that's turned out too. Shit. Maybe when I was young I said it. You know, but younger. Sorry. Yes, I'm 60 now. But but you know what I mean? Like I don't know, man. It's just really, really changed. And
Who else? What other artists from the Fillmore?
oh god, damn it.
Rappers.
I mean, there's JT the Bigger Figure.
Okay, yeah.
There's
Rolling in the Lab.
before him, Rapping Forte.
Nice.
You know, San Quinn, Big Rich, Demo, Seth the Gaffler. Damn, it's a bunch of cats.
Wow,
on,
that's
so.
a lot of very talented people.
Yeah, and then there's you know, actually too, you know, little there's Board Stiff over there too, like, you know what I'm saying, like on the outskirts of things. I mean, that's where they formed, I feel. And then you got other. I mean,
Was Nicotina is not from that?
Nicotina, yep, Nicotina,
He definitely.
yep, Dre Dog, definitely over there. That's where I met him at. I met him over there,
How'd you meet him, or where'd you meet him?
dude. I met him over at this dude D-Mac house, I think. Producer. Oh, I'm sorry, Huey MC. I can't forget Huey because Huey's kind of like one of the first dudes I heard from the Fillmore. You know. So I go over to this house, the studio. I was with my boy Leonard and Prentice at the time, and I was just doing my shit. We go over there to D-Mac's house. I want to say D-Mac or J-Mac. No, J-Mac? It's either one of the or. Anyway. So anyway, we go over there, and he has a studio. So I get in there. Leonard and Prentice is about to do something, and Huey MC was there. And I was getting to know him. I was like, oh, man, you know, I like your shit, blah, blah, blah. And then this other tall dude with a curl and a hat on was just like, you know, chilling there too. So that was Dre Dog. And it's funny because these beats, we were smoking hella weed, and then we were playing these beats, and we were rapping over them and shit. And Dre Dog got on, and dude, we were like, it was hilarious because this dude was saying so much ill ass shit and then just funny shit at the same time. It's like I was rolling, dude. I mean, I busted my rap. I forget what I even said. It was some like little tongue twisty ass, like lyrical rap, and fools were tripping on that. But when Dre Dog got on, it was a whole other thing. And you know what I mean?
His lyrics and style of writing is like no one else.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. It's a different thing, man, and that's why he's, you know, so unique and people love him. It's like he's got that cult following because he just be saying the cocaine shit. That's that dope.
So this was like around like 99th Dimension time or something, or what?
It was, yeah, it was.
So that was your group. That was your first group.
That was my first group. Yeah, it's crazy thing is, yeah, it was a little before that, but that's when I started forming the group, definitely. And,
Were you guys was that a high school thing?
we were in high school, kind of just kicking rhymes and stuff and seeing.
What high school you go to?
I went to Westmore High, because I almost went to Balboa, and that's over in the Mission.
Oh, Balboa Buccaneers.
Yeah.
I have a T-shirt.
So I almost went to Balboa, but I lucked up and went to Westmore because we got evicted out of the projects we were living in. So after we moved out of the Fillmore, we moved to these other projects near North Beach, and we were there living with my auntie for a minute. Then we got our own little projects, you know what I mean? So we go to these projects, Double Rock, and I was like, oh, Mama, no, you not. No, we're not moving here. Like, you know what I mean? That's how I felt in my heart. I was like, nah, you know, and I kind of maybe voiced it here and there. And she's just like, this is what we got. This is what we, this is what we can do. And I was like, God damn it. You know what I'm saying? To myself. You know, as black kids, you cannot be cursing out loud to your parents because they will beat your mouth off. You know what I mean? So, So we were living there, and then we got evicted from there because my mama went against the PG&E and the housing authority. They were just pulling shady shit. So we got evicted, lived with my uncle in Daly City, and then I went to Westmore, and this is right when I was going to go to high school. So it was 9th grade. I did that. I was in Westmore and was rapping and listening to rap way more, and then I started getting into it, like to the point where I wanted to rap, but I didn't want to rap yet, like take it serious career wise, until my boy Prentice. One day we're going back and forth, and he mentioned something that was like, "Oh, he's trying to do it for real," and I was like, "Wait a minute, you really trying to rap, like career wise? Like you trying to like come up?" That's what we used to say. "Oh, you trying to come up?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, fool, I ain't doing this for my health." And I was like, oh. So I kind of like just, validated. And I was like, all right, I'm fucking doing it then. You know what I'm saying? So I just would write a lot of raps. And then out of high school, this is when the 99th Dimension started forming. So it actually started forming because I was drawing these cartoons.
Right. That I had to have been before writing lyrics and rapping. Because...
Oh, I was drawing way before these lyrics.
Were you always doing characters? Because you're known for like your kind of unique characters of people and animals and caricatures.
Yeah, man.
Portraits.
I always was drawing all the goddamn time.
You've done the artwork on every single one of your albums, right?
Yes. And I'm making a statement with that because I think that's, I don't know, it's just more unique that way. I would rather, I don't want to ever like be, I don't know, have a photograph or me or something, you know what I mean, on it.
Right.
If I'm going to be on there, it's going to be drawn, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's going to be always that I know of.
How would you like, what were your, like, how'd you get into drawing? Like, what, because your style is definitely, it fits in that kind of history of like San Francisco artists, you
Sure.
know, like, there's so many great ones. I mean, from the 60s, sort of, Robert Crumb and like and so forth, that make these like kind of otherworldly characters of human beings. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and animals and shit. Yeah. My thing was just old cartoons. Here's a story. Like my mama, I was about 4, and it's crazy because this is across the hall that I live in now, in this apartment. So I was drawing, and I drew Woody Woodpecker, and my mama was like, I kind of showed her, and she's like looking for a minute, and she's like, what? You know? So she took that picture and said, do that again. So I drew Woody Woodpecker again, and she was like, and he wasn't even on the TV. Like, this is just me thinking about Woody Woodpecker all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? Just obsessed with him. And then, so I drew it again, and she was like, God damn, you know what I mean? She was impressed. You know, she had a cigarette in her hand, just, oh my God, we're gonna go places, you know. You know, this is back when the shit, parents used to smoke in the house, kids ran around, and
Oh yeah.
next day I'm at school and smelling like I've been smoking. But yeah, so she asked me to do it again, and I did it, and then she was like excited. But I would see her draw all the time.
Really?
Yeah, she would this crazy style she would do. So she would basically be looking outside the window and then just be drawing houses and trees and, you know, apartment buildings and all that, and just the telephone wires and shit. And she would get me a lot of coloring books too. I remember I had this Star Trek coloring book and this other crazy coloring book and whatever was popping then, Warner Brothers shit. But yeah, I started doing that, and she just encouraged me to keep drawing, so I did. And I was drawing everything. I was drawing her. I was drawing my brother. I was drawing just everything I see. And just thought of Star Wars shit. I mean, and a lot of stuff out of the head, you know, which I still do, but it's just the energy I had. Because I used to draw comic books, my own comic books.
Yeah, I mean the imagination on those, at least the album covers, is really crazy. I mean, it's a lot of commentary, a lot of commentary on race and society and sex and money, and
money,
exploitation, and stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah. Basically, I go off of whatever the theme of the album is going to be. The painting is going to be that. You know what I mean? Maybe not always to the letter, but I like to let people imagine a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And see what they think.
Word.
Yeah, man. So yeah, where were we at? Where were we? I'm sorry. I was saying.
Well, we were just kind of talking about. I guess it's all plays into just growing up, and you had moved. You know, we were
Yeah.
talking about that, and sort of in the context of like where the early music stuff goes. But I know
Yeah.
that the artwork, that's all happening at the exact same time. So it's just a part of your upbringing and
Yeah.
growing up as a kid in
Absolutely.
San Francisco.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And just influences like old cartoons and newer shit and everything, and and just seeing what I was seeing, and people asked me to draw all the time.
Right.
Because in high school, I was drawing on people's clothes. Like I was doing their pants, I was doing their sweatshirts, hats sometimes,
What
jackets,
kind of stuff were you doing?
whatever they wanted. Like they always want
How many Bart Simpsons did you have to do?
probably one.
Oh, okay, because that
Probably
was
one or
the
two.
bootleg Bart Simpson
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
back
yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah,
early
yeah.
90s.
Yeah.
Like on the shirt.
I'm saying, but Fools had that already, so they were already getting those. But they would ask me to do so much custom made stuff that I'm like, the volume of the shit I was doing was crazy. It was as if like I didn't even go to school, but I was at school every day.
Yeah.
Because I like school. You know what I mean? Like it was social, and I didn't. If I was to stay home, I'd have been bored and mad. You know what I mean? Like probably just work a little bit on the art. But I was yeah, man, I was turning shit out, like, and that was how I was making money. Secondarily, you know what I mean? Like I was selling drugs and shit. You know what I mean? Like, but that was just so I can, get what I wanted to get. But because living in Double Rock, man, I was seeing so many fly motherfuckers. Like, I mean, just drug dealer dudes with chains and sweatsuits, crazy ass kicks, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes their glasses, hats. So I would draw some of that, and then kids would ask me to draw a lot of that shit. So I'd be drawing like, oh, you want this dude doing this, you want this. And sometimes it'd be like an alien looking figure, but he just be having the fly shit on, you know what I mean? Or the chick could be like a cat, but she just had a fly shit on, you know what I mean? Or a rabbit or something, always doing something different. And then I really started drawing people, and it was, that was different too. But I never went to school for it.
What was the turf hat shit? That was from that era too, right?
Oh yeah, it was like that good 88, 89, and
How would you define what that is for people that
87 shit.
for people that it's obviously like a regional thing. It's a Bay Area.
It's a Bay Area thing, yeah, man. That shit was like basically what turf hat is, because we had turf jackets too. But a turf hat would be, so this place in Oakland, Granny Google's or whatever, they were doing these iron-ons, like these hands. These hands would be like maybe a 5 finger, or they would cut the hand, cut the fingers into whatever they want. So there'll be middle fingers, there'll be peace signs, there'll be like whatever, you know what I mean, like a 1, and then they would have like maybe where their turf was, like say it was HP or Sunnydale or Filmo or something like that. They have that on the hat as well. But also they would have like a little slogan on there. And it'd usually be a rap slogan, what a rapper would say.
Right.
Something very like aggressive, you know what I'm saying? Nothing too fucking weak and flimsy, you know what I'm saying? It'd definitely
something
be
that's bold and makes a
bold
statement.
and saying,
It's on the hat.
it's on the
It's
hat.
on the side. or
On the
is it-
side, yeah.
Dope. So they
yeah.
have something on the front, on the face.
Well, they just have something on the front, like maybe their names or something.
Right.
You put their names or whatever their street name was and whatever. Then they would have the jackets, which were like starter jackets, but they would be like stitched in, embroidered like words. The illest one I seen was like this dude had, and it said "Don't get dropped." You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's dope.
yeah, it was motherfuckers just saying whatever they wanted to say on those hats. It's crazy because I always used to think like, damn, they're just getting away with that. And fools would see, but they would be always in packs. You wouldn't really catch nobody with they turf hat alone.
Right.
At least I didn't really see that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I had a couple of turf hats. Then I started drawing, like making my own. Because I would get this fabric that you iron on knees and shit with, you know what I mean? Like the when fools used to tear their jeans and shit.
Oh yeah.
So I would use that and I would make my own turf hats.
So you would paint, draw on the fabric and then iron it onto.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, draw on the fabric, then cut it out, put it on the hat, and the letters too.
That's fresh.
which is crazy. You know what I mean? And then I got around to getting my own turf hat.
Do you still have any of those?
I have one maybe in the cuts. It's small too.
Yeah.
I used to have a littler head, man.
Yeah, I guess your hair now changed the size of your hat.
Yeah, man, in my head too. Shit. But so yeah, those were turf hats, man, and fools used to rock those. And I remember when we had our own little turf hats. Me and my brother had one, and it said Double Rock and all this other crazy shit. And I remember we were somewhere swimming at Martin Luther King swimming pool on 3rd Street, and there were all these fools there, and I was kind of like, damn. I felt a little like, definitely outnumbered, but I felt like...
Because you had the hat on, too?
Because he had the hat on, yeah. My brother was just...
Identified.
Yeah, my brother was just like rocking his shit, like not giving a fuck, you know what I'm saying? I was like, kind of had mine to the side just for a minute. It was too much, man, because it was like, back then, you know, fools used to be like, where you from? Where you from? You know, where you from? Oh, where you know, and you kind of tell them, and they'd be like, oh, they're either cool with it or they'd be like ready to squab, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it was a dangerous ass time back there for, you know, it was definitely a low, besides having a curl, you know what I mean? Yeah, that was a low for blacks, man, but goddamn. So, but the turf wars and shit, man, that was a low, because it was just like, a lot of good people got killed, and you know, motherfuckers was getting, you know, stomped to death and shot up, and you know, and just early, you know what I mean? Early in the game, I was only 11 and 12, and shit was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when I really started seeing like ill ass shit happen, and then, you know, but I try to stay really neutral and really try to stay like focused. Right. So I knew I wanted to just be an animator, like make cartoons.
Sure.
And that's all I wanted to do, really. And then,
well, that makes sense. I mean, the artwork is in that world.
Yeah, and then rap came and took me over.
So, really, it all started with 99th Dimension, 99th Dimension.
Yep.
Your group from back then for high school. Your high school.
Yeah, I started drawing pictures, drawing cartoons and shit of that, and then.
Who were the guys in the group?
Okay, so it was me. It was my brother King Maz. It was Rated R. It was Young Slim, Rev Cope, PBF1, Bugs the Thug, Yogi B. It was D Wit. I mean, it was which they called themselves Tiny Toon, but it was just a few of us really, like at the core, you know, for the core, because we made a tape and it was only like 5 of us on there. You know, it was only 5.
That was the first one.
That was the first one.
What was that called?
It was self-titled, 99th Dimension. And funny thing is, too, I didn't start really getting better. When I got with a group, my rap shit got way better. Because it was like, I was just kind of just rapping and battle rapping and shit and just kind of saying shit that...
Right, and in the group, you bouncing off people's
ideas.
You know, in hip-hop, too, everyone has a different voice and delivery and style.
But also with that group, I noticed I wasn't going to do certain things as far as in my rap songs. Like, shit I left out, like, you know, I don't know, certain things I wouldn't say, certain things I would say, because I was changing from what I would used to do. So I just liked more so talking about something instead of like, oh, I'm just better. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. I got more of this and then that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I was on, just because of, you know, Big Daddy Kane and Rakim and fucking Coogee Rap and Slick Rick and all that and Too Short. You know what I mean? So it was like a lot I was listening to, and then I started listening to a lot of other shit. And I was like, man, I need to kind of make a difference. You know what I'm saying? But the group was good. But, you know, everybody, real life shit happens. You know, like, fools are like, I need to do this. I got to get this money. Sure. I got to do this. Oh, I'm having a baby. Oh, shit, I'm about to have a baby. You know, so really it was, I was the only one that really could really move. You know what I'm saying? Like, I you know, me and my boy Slim at the time, but even he, you know, had things he had to do, responsibilities. You know, he had moved to L.A. and all this other shit, and things happened. So, you know.
But you guys were doing some shows and stuff, right?
Did a few shows. Did a show in L.A.
Did you? What year is this? It's the early 90s, right?
It's early as fuck 90s, yeah, man.
What was the show in L.A.?
I want to say it was downtown. It was at this fuck, what was this spot? It was a cool spot too, but it was outside, and there was an inside like this kind of, I don't know, man. It might even been the Good Light. No, I don't know if it was the Good
Was
Light.
it?
I don't know if it was, but I think the setup looked like that. You know what I'm saying? But we were outside, and that shit went to the night, and that was one of my
Remember
first.
anyone else on the bill?
I don't, because a lot of fools I remember were sounding like Razzcast, and a lot of other fools were just had this crazy ass style, which now I get it because Freestyle Fellowship is doing that. You know what I mean? And I was like, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And
Definitely different than what was happening in the Bay.
way different, man. Yeah, shit was on some other. It was like kind of like when Souls of Mischief came out and they had such a different twang and a different style. You were like, what the fuck is that? But it was dope. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, definitely.
but also when that happened, that solidified things. It was like, oh, okay, fools could do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It made me feel like, all right, you know, almost like I got next, or I'm coming out too. You know what I'm saying? So that was good. But yeah, had some shows. Then we did some other shows, and not a ton of shows with 99th Dimension, but we did do a lot of them.
You
in
did
the
a
Bay
couple
too.
of tapes. There's 2 tapes in total.
Two
right?
tapes, yep, in total. Mm-hmm.
You still got any copies of those?
I do have a copy of the 99th Dimension tape. The first
Those are
one.
hard to find nowadays.
I'm gonna just start repressing them. Fuck it.
You should.
Yeah, definitely. That and the second one, RSP Student.
Yeah, RSP Student, which was like a school themed. I remember
School
the intro
themed.
was like, you know, you did like the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah. That and then the flip side was like, this is what happens to stupid kids. You know what I'm saying? Like turn into fucking dope fiends or drug dealers or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what that was.
When did you come up with the Gingerbread Man? That's around that time?
Yeah, so I met the Ginger in 98.
Dope.
You know, that's when that started coming along, drawing him and everything, and you know what I mean, and just was, you know, wanted to make his own album.
I mean, he's got a you know, very electrifying personality.
Electrifying personality, unique,
He's very nimble.
very nimble. Just says what he wants. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
even more so to me. Just not giving a fuck. You know what I'm saying? And he's a cookie.
Yeah.
A little teenage cookie, which still a teenager and shit. Like it's fucking
He's permanently a teenage cookie. The
Yep.
permanent teenage
the
cookie.
permanent cookie. Yeah, still doing drugs and shit. I'm like, dude, that's
Yeah.
played out. when is that?
just
When are you
say
gonna
no,
get tired?
man.
When are you gonna get tired of that?
So then, okay, well then, obviously, before you met him, you would kind of go on to doing your own music too.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, so the crazy part is that I guess it was around ATAC. ATAC had come out. ATAC was my boy P Minus, and he had this independent hip hop store. So right, but online. You know what I mean?
And though he would go to local shows and set up his little table,
Yep.
and sell all of the local underground hip hop
Yeah.
tapes and records and stuff.
Yep.
And even if some people were savvy enough or fortunate enough, they might have a CD too. But it was mostly
Right.
tapes.
It was
and
tapes.
and a
It's
couple
tapes.
records.
And some records. Yeah. Tapes and some records. And so I met him at a show, I remember. And I don't think I was even... I think my brother wasn't 21 and I wasn't 21. We were in the show, but we had to dip out because we were too young and shit. So we did the show and then we had to cut. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I met him. I think I met him there, and he approached me as like, "Hey, man, I want to do this and this and that. Hey, I was wondering, I like your shit, blah 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 blah." And I got this. And so he broke it down to me. I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then so we started hanging out, and I
Did you
started
guys talk
getting
about veganism?
You know what?
He was pretty staunch
He was
early vegan.
yeah. He was early in it, and I was definitely eating vegan food, but I wasn't full blown vegan. You know, but I didn't eat dairy. I would occasionally eat fish, and that was the only meat. But man, that fool, yeah. So he was selling these tapes, and so I would get him tapes every whatever week or whatever, or every 2 weeks or something, and but he was getting them out there, man. So then I got him the other tape, which was a little controversy, I guess, because I kind of blew it out of proportion, saying, "Oh, he don't want to sell his tape. He don't want to sell." It was a different vibe, you know. We kind of were going through some stuff. 99th Dimension was going through a lot of shit at the time. So the second album maybe wasn't as good as the first one. The first one was just like a whole other thing, you know what I mean? Very unique and very just like, you know, just strange and different. Right. But the second one was more like a little darkness, but it was still good. It just wasn't as good as the other one. And it was just only two of us on there, really. You know what I'm saying? So, so it's just a different vibe. And then P Minus kind of like, I don't know, you know, I don't know. He just wanted to get the best shit out, basically, to people, you know what I mean? Right. And it was kind of on his taste or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay. So finally it got, you know, he did get it out. But it was kind of like, I was like, really? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just hadn't had that, you know what I mean? So it was like, I just was really with the movement and trying to do shit. And he kind of was like,
and there were only so many outlets that you could sell the tape too, right?
I was doing consignment and all that and just selling them whenever I could, but, you know, and going.
Like, where would you go to?
I would go to Creative Music, I remember. I would go to, I don't know if I was going to Amoeba yet, but I think I did in Berkeley. And I would be in Berkeley a lot, just swapping tapes or either, like, trying to compete with fucking Mystic Journeyman and shit, you know what I'm saying? So it was like that, you know, fools would see each other and that whole era was so crazy, dude, because it's like, that's where we all, like, kind of met each other, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Selling tapes on Telegraph.
On Telegraph and shit, seeing these fools at shows and going, what is going on? You know what I mean? Like, did a couple of shows with them early in the game, as 99th Dimension, definitely. But I was going to say is, so P, you know, finally he gave in and started selling that tape. And then after that, even things got a little weirder. So we basically didn't have we were trying to make another album, but that was hard. And we got a lot of songs too, still to this day it hadn't come out. But I was like, I got to the point where I was like, fuck man, I need to do my thing still. Like I'm not just, you know, so I started making songs on my own using some of the beats Slim had and Verse Murphy from Sacred Hoop and shit. But I also, wait, before we get there, I'm getting ahead of myself. I made this one tape called A Verse or Two.
Right.
And I got that to P Minus, and he was like, what? You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
Z-Man.
That was me, just me. You know what I mean?
That's your first thing that you did on your own, right?
Yeah.
Dope.
Mm-hmm. That was my first thing. And then Fools were kind of bugging on that a little bit. And then...
Is that the one that had the... what was the character on the cover?
The Cream of Wheat Man.
Yeah. Right.
And Gingerbread Man is on there too, like hugging me and we're looking at a rhyme book or something.
Right.
In the studio, in the booth or whatever. That shit's funny. And then you open up, there's hella crazy ass shit in there, like crazy shit. So, yeah, that was my first little thing. And then I think the Gingerbread Man's tape drop. That was a whole other thing too.
What was that called?
Candy House.
Okay, yeah. Because he did two albums, right?
Mm-hmm. 3, I think, in total.
Wow, man. I gotta go back to that stuff.
Yeah. Man. I just heard that the other day.
Right.
I was like, this shit is hella crazy. It was just, but it's so ill because nobody was doing that shit. And I was rapping on there too. GB and Eddie K is on that tape. Rev Cope is on there. Luke is on there. Luke Sick is on there. So that shit was just very unique and different. Like,
yeah, really quick, not to get on a tangent, but how did you must have met the Sacred Hoop guys?
Oh, yeah.
Shows
in 96.
Oh, wow.
96 is when I met them.
Because that plays a big role in your career, too, because you were part of that world. And that's not necessarily... They weren't from San Francisco. They were from...
Palo Alto. And Arizona.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Verse Murphy's from Arizona, right? The producer. And that would then also somehow then link you into that world of Arizona artists, which you have a long history with as well, which is like our mutual friends and people we know, Brandon B in particular, but Supermarket, and then of course Game Time Electro and stuff like that. Yeah, that's right.
I know that whole era was just like, because I met them at a show, Sacred Hoop. I met them at a fucking this show on Top of the Hill or whatever it was in the Cuts. South Bay, But and I was like, damn, you know, it was kind of bugging. And that day we had just got our tapes. We had just got our 99th Dimension tapes, and so we were like juiced. So we did a show there with them, and then DJ Quest was there and some other fools, and they were like, damn, we were just kind of bugging on Sacred Hoop because they were kind of dope.
Yeah, they're really super unique.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
energy and vibe.
Yeah, had a real dope, man. And then so we just kind of like we started chopping it up, and then I seen Luke at my boy Q's hip hop.
Yeah, Q's hip hop shop.
That was the shit. So I see him there, and we just kind of chopped it up a little bit. You know, got each other's numbers and shit. Then we started kind of like, and then we just kind of clicked. You know what I'm saying? Like, then I went down and did songs with them, and then they would invite me on shows, and it's kind of around the time like the 99th Dimension shit was kind of coming to an end. So you know what I'm saying? So it was like, you know, and like I said, I had to do my thing. So I was kind of still doing shit, and they would add me on the shows, and I would like back up Luke or whatever, or do a song in between or whatever their set. So that's how that was happening, and then
the stuff with you and Verse Murphy would then open up a bunch of the next phase of your work, your raps.
Yeah.
Tell me about how did you make? This is one of my favorite tapes of yours of that era, the early era is 4 Hours.
Oh shit! Let's talk about it.
It's pretty classic,
dude. That is probably by far my favorite. So, another 4-track tape.
Right.
So this is how that came about. A verse or two, and when Candy House was recorded, and I wanted to do a combination of the two, and kind of go, oh, okay, like, you know, but I wanted to come clean, but a little still dirty, but cohesive, but still like very raw. Because a verse or two is off the hook, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of, but I did it more so for those underground kids, because at that time I was so like underground shit. You know what I mean? I liked who I liked in the mainstream, which I didn't know they were going to be mainstream, because at that time rap was like, you know, it was just, you liked who you liked, and you didn't even think about mainstream until like MTV raps and shit. You know what I'm saying? And then you're kind of still like, oh, but then it's like, oh, that shit is kind of big. You know what I mean? So I wanted to do this little underground tape, a verse or two, and just to set the tone for kids. Then after that, I just was like, I'm working on a verse. 2 cups. Fuck am I talking about? I know. Jumping ahead of myself. Sorry.
You can't talk about every single album.
No.
Certain, you know, Paramount ones.
Sure, of course. 4 hours of sleep. So I was working. Yeah, you good? You alright? You had 4 hours of sleep. So 4 hours of sleep was made because I was working at this place called Labor Ready, and I was getting 4 hours of sleep. Because sometimes, you know, and then I was dealing with my ex-wife, and who I love dearly to this day. We're good now. And I was just, you know, 4 hours of sleep, and I was on one. And so I made this album where it was like all this bizarreness was going on, and just raps I would just talk about, and just little rants and just cool little shit. Like, you know, 2-minute songs or whatever, and just they would come in, and I would kind of complain here, and I would do this, and they blend it nice, you know. And it was still fucking like gritty.
Yeah, it's gritty.
Very smoked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it gives the feeling of when you only get 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah,
it's like just not enough.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And when you got to get back, and especially if you got a job that you come home from, and then you got to go right back to that shit.
Dude, I'm saying I was doing that. So that's what was going on some days, and I was like, oh, okay, I made this, and then it just. When I made that, it just all made sense. And then that, I think, woke people up. They're like, damn. Like, I remember this fool ID was like, you know, he heard the other stuff, but then we heard this. He was like, he left me a phone message on my on my fucking answering machine. Yeah. For y'all that don't know what an answering machine is, because you're too young, that was some old shit we had back in the day, before cell phones.
And you left a message. What did you say?
He left a message saying, yo, dog, I didn't know you was coming like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, and I kind of like, yeah, what the fuck you think? You know what I'm saying? Fuck you think? So that was floating around for a while, and then CDs. I got CDs pressed of it, and I
Right.
started doing that, and then that kind of got me noticed for the deal for fucking with Hyro.
Right. For
You know what I'm
which would be Dope or Dog.
Dope or Dog Food, yeah, and then then shit has just changed. Then that's
Definitely.
you know
Before
what I'm
we
saying?
get into Dope or Dog Food, which I want to talk about, which is really how you and I really started working together too, is there was another album that didn't really come out, but that was sort of around that time.
It made a lot of circulation because I went on tour with it. Anti Nerd.
No, I'm talking about something else. I love Anti.
which one?
No, because you got a lot of projects, so you might not be thinking about the one.
Bachelors?
Yes.
You know what, man? The Bachelors was great, and
Yeah.
17th. This is the 17th anniversary of it not coming out. Fucking thanks, first Murphy.
I will say this: there's one song on there that is one you can't. It's not available online anywhere. You can't hear it anywhere. I have a CDR of it in my files back at home, but I wanted to try to listen to some of the joints before we talked. In fact, there is a promo Female Fun Records CD or split single with Game Title Lecture and The Bachelors.
Yeah.
That existed. It was a promo only. And I was like, oh, before Z comes over, I really want to listen to Sperm Man.
Yeah.
The song, Sperm Man. And
Fools like that.
you can't really successfully search the internet for Sperm Man. You know, I just wanted to let you know that. I tried to find it, and I was looking around for Sperm Man, and I didn't find the song. I found some other shit.
Yeah, nothing. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I love that album, though.
Yeah, no, I when I was doing that album, I knew I was gonna do some other really like good shit. You know, that was and that's definitely before Dope or Dog Food.
Right. Just a lost classic, right?
Yeah,
Never
man.
came
I
out.
mean, well, they're trying to actually right now because I did redo a lot of that stuff. So I think Luke and someone is pressing some vinyl of it. So it's gonna come out like I want to say 7 songs at least. Maybe not all the shit, but 7 songs of it is good. So that's going on. Bachelors, I wrote that because I had this feel from Verse, like this old, like kind of like wine, women, and song kind of vibe with him. And I was drinking red wine and fucking.
What was the wine that you liked to drink back then?
Oh, I love the Rossi, but I was. I love Rossi, but I was drinking. I was drinking your standard table wine as well, red wine.
Yeah, fine table wine.
Fine wines, definitely.
Straight
but-
from California.
Yes, but I would definitely fuck with some Rossi. So I
That
remember.
was the first. Y'all were the first people, growing up on the East Coast and coming out here and then meeting you and Brandon B and that whole group of guys that were still living in. Not all these people had merged to the Bay yet.
No, yeah, and I'm gonna say real quick, I was urging Brandon B to come to the Bay because it was just like, why are you not out here? You know what I'm saying? Like he just seemed like he'd fit better in the Bay Area.
Right.
You know what I mean? To me, because just his personality, how he was and shit. And I was like, Verse too, but Verse only wanted to be in like the South Bay, like in a little fucking house, hiding and shit, waiting for chicks to come over or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I was like, dude, you need to come to the city if that's the case, and just be there.
Yeah, but you guys were. I'd never seen people drink those big ass.
Oh
jugs of Carlos Rossi,
yeah, man. We were fucking those up and a jug to the neck. You know what I'm saying? Like
You
I
would drink a whole one.
Yes. Oh yes, definitely. Yeah.
What's the hangover like for that? That must be hard.
I don't. You know what's crazy? I didn't get hangovers or any. I didn't know what those were until later in my life.
Sure, of course.
Because, I mean, like 2 years ago. I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, the fuck is this? Oh, that's what that is. I guess a hangover. Because I would usually, just know what I'm doing. But even though I would mix drinks. So, I don't know. Rossi, yeah, I was drinking that. And that I was just thinking this whole, like, oh, I'm a bachelor mind state. You know what I'm saying? And so I wrote that and thought of these crazy songs, too, that I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So, again, like, The Bachelors, I like it because the content, every song was different.
Right.
Every song was, about its own shit. You know what I mean? And written, like, meaty, you know what I'm saying? Like with enough shit to be like, oh shit, I'm getting my listen, you know what I mean? I'm getting my listen worth, you know what I mean? And the beats were banging, so
let's talk about this Dope or Dog Food because it is like a It's a turning point in your career in a way. It opens up things. You start going on the road a lot more.
Yeah, yep.
You start becoming a real like road warrior style tour.
Yeah,
and shit.
and fools started kind of recognizing me. Like cats, I didn't even really know I was gonna even meet. You know,
So
or
and the
or
album-
work with.
Yeah, and the album sort of comes out on this subsidiary label of Hieroglyphics, right? Refill Records.
Yes, yes. That was the. Yeah, I guess like how you have a. Yeah, it came out through Refill Records, Hieroglyphics. It's crazy. To this day, they still Z-Man from Hieroglyphics.
People really juice that one.
Tajay be hella mad too. He like hitting fools up with hey. Yeah, no, you can't put it. You
You gotta
can't.
erase that.
It's hella funny, but yeah, fools still be hitting me with that like Z-Man from Hieroglyphics and One Block Radius. You know what I mean? Like y'all are crazy. I don't make the rules. But yeah, so I did this album, man. This album was crazy, like because I was kind of on one doing this album too. So I was on one, off one, kind of coming back to myself. But I knew, I don't know, it was a lot of competition in my head at that time, you know? I felt it was, and I was just writing this, and the beats on there, like, kind of had me, like, you know, bouncing with them a little bit, and there's a lot of shit on there I wish I would have redid, but it's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
for that time, it's like, that's what it was. I was caught, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it was captured as.
Right. Well, that's how we started working together too. Because
Yeah.
I think I was hired as a publicist for that album.
Right.
I don't know if do you remember?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully, for what it's worth, I hopefully did a good campaign. On
You're
that.
right. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, yeah, you know.
Now, you know what, dude? It was a different. It was
What was that? 2001?
no, 2003.
Oh, okay.
It was just a different album for people. Like I think, like, and Moss, I remember him saying, "Man, you know, guy. I mean, it's just, you know, it's ahead of its time, kind of. It's like, you know, it's just not, you know, it didn't register with everybody. People thought it was like, oh, what is this? And some people were like, this is very quirky, or this is very, I don't know. But the rhymes on it were like, nobody was rapping like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He produced most of the album.
he produced most of that.
Didn't he do some big commercial shit too?
He did this joint for Ghostface, and that
Okay.
kind of like boosted shit. And then he just I think he produced the whole album for Coogee Rap, the newest Coogee Rap album. Yeah,
Interesting.
so that's tight. No, he makes some spanking ass beats, man. They
I mean,
slap.
there's some great production and great songs on Dope or
Dope.
Dog.
Yeah, there is.
I wish I don't have the track list in front of me right now.
Right, but I can
But
think.
the Rastafarian joint is dope. I love that. What's
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Knock on wood.
Yeah, yes. And we used to
Yes.
rock that one.
Yep.
Heavy. Because you also, this is when you started coming up to Humboldt, when I was living in Humboldt County in Northern California, when I was living in Arcata, California.
Yep, Arcade.
Doing a lot of shows.
Yeah, Arcade. I mean, I know I was up there like it was cool and shit. Like, I mean, no, it was cool. It was cool. I miss Humboldt too sometimes, like, because as much as I would talk shit about it being so stony and just people being asleep, but it was great, good people. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you know, met a lot of good people up there, like, and
sure.
hung out, and
Well, I think
and,
that
and the
era
show
too
shit was tight.
Yeah, the era when I was living there was a prolific era for shows and
Yeah, and you were just working your ass off to make that town into, like, you know, you were trying to bring hip hop there.
yeah,
You know what I'm
rock
saying?
hip-hop there.
Yeah, exactly. So you're just bringing the culture. You know,
I
what
mean,
I'm
we
saying?
must have done maybe 100 Z-Man performances in
Yeah.
Humboldt County from like 2002 to 2005. You know,
Yeah.
because you would come up like almost once a month, or
Yeah.
or every few months. If somebody would do multiple shows.
Yep.
Then you would come up to paint some storefronts. And,
Yeah.
and then you do tracks
right.
with some fools, and then you would just we'd hang out, and it was kind of a solid college town type of life. It's not that demanding of a place, you know. So.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, man, it was good times, man. I mean, weed and women, and, you know, hanging out with fools and the food, and it was good to me, you know.
Do you remember? Do you recall the tour that we went on, which was
The ABC tour? No, the Alphabet tour.
something like that?
Something like
The
that.
Lost Man.
Oh, Alvin Fitz Soup or something like that.
I don't remember the name of it. It was something along those lines.
Ooh, you, me, Brycon, and AWOL. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a good one. I like that tour.
That was fun. I'd never done something like that particular kind of run, where we were just in a minivan. It was a classic tour of that era too, just in a minivan.
Yeah, but
Rappers
we
in
did.
a minivan.
Yeah, did shows though. Like we did some shows.
Brycon talking all loud as shit on his cell phone, like pushing deals through.
Yeah,
he has a big ass white sneakers on and
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like a button
blazer and a button up. Yeah, yeah. He was a fool. He was a fool, dude. But he
lives here now, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he's
that tour,
and he's making banging ass shit. Like, I mean, he's just in demand too. Like, he's working with a lot of people too. So it's good, man. I mean, his transition it worked for him. I think, you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, he's been trying to get me and AWOL to do an album.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, which I'm totally open to because I like AWOL and AWOL's doing a lot of artwork too now.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just and shit that I'm like, I didn't even know you were doing this. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, so
well,
it's
I
cool.
love that tour was fun too, just because you and AWOL kind of totally different style.
Yeah, totally different. Yeah,
It's very like, I think you were calling like Johnny Cash or something.
Yeah, yeah, man. But he's. You know what I mean? Hit that arm out there, then
right.
grabs the mic. You know, he was in all black, just a real cool ass dude. Like,
oh yeah,
one of the coolest dudes. Definitely, I've been on tour with.
Oh, he's so mellow and
humble too. You know what I mean?
Humble.
And not all. You know, it was like, damn, dude, this is tight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because coming from like being on the tours with egomaniacs and just like hella fools that are like, holy shit, you prima donna motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean? Or just whatever. It's just like. It was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, my fondest memory of that was, I don't know if you really remember most of that because it's so long ago, but
I remember most.
Well, we had a day off in
Colorado
Denton.
or something. Yeah.
Well, we had a day off in Denton. We had a couple days off. You had an interesting routing. We kind of crisscrossed a lot.
Yeah.
But we had a day
we
off.
were in Texas?
In Denton, Texas.
Okay, yeah.
And like a friend of mine's girlfriend let us stay in her house. I think we played in Denton, and then we had like an extra day off or something like that. And so we were just crashing at this friend's house, friend of a friend, and someone either gave us a big bag of mushrooms.
That's right.
Or I don't think it was purchased, but I think...
Nah, it wasn't purchased.
I think we just found it.
But you didn't do any, huh?
No, I did, yeah.
Okay, so you and AWOL, and we were watching fucking... what was the movie? With the road Super Troopers? Or no, what was it?
It was Super Troopers.
Yeah, was it? Dude, oh my God, dude.
And just...
I was so on GURP, dude. Those mushrooms were fucking me up. I was like... And then me and AWOL looked at each other like, what? And he was like, man, this is too much for... It's trying to get me, but I can't... He was saying something like, it's too... I don't know if his mind won't let the shrooms get to him, or the shrooms are too ill for him, or... I was like, fool, I don't know what you're talking about. I was fucking tripping, dude. Like, that shit was... You know what I mean? Like... the TV was and I was like feeling like, whoa, buddy, whoa.
Right,
You know that's that good shit.
It was. I think that's the last time we even ate mushrooms too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Damn.
I remember we watched that, and then I think we watched like 3 or 4 other movies.
Yeah.
Literally, and it didn't feel burnt out because literally was like laughing hysterically throughout the whole. Every single
God, dude, it was rolling. That's right. Yeah, we were fucking cracking up.
Yeah, that was fun. So then, I mean, okay, so Doper Dog Food definitely like starts a certain kind of trajectory for you.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
since then you've been like kind of on a consistent crusade of records and stuff like that, both as Z-Man, which is more so what you've been focusing on, but you had like the group. You went back into a group scenario too. Did this sort of major label thing with that.
Yeah, that was crazy too.
With One Block Radius, which is sort of like it seems like you just that just sort of happened, right? Like,
yeah, it did, and it happened organically too. You know what I mean? Like me and Marty James, we were talking about doing something before even Doper Dog Food was getting made. You know what I mean? And he had some music and shit.
Uh-huh.
And he would send me stuff, and I was like, okay. So I was kind of checking it out and whatever. Then went down to L.A. and checked it, and I was like, oh shit. And it's crazy because I was drinking Rossi while I was down there too, and then but I went down for the day and flew right back home.
Wow.
And then I said, okay, you know, I want to do some things because it was just different. You know what I mean? Like it was just different, anything different from what I was doing. So I was into that, and after that, we just kind of just stayed in touch. And when I got back up tour, I kind of like linked back up with him, went down there, did some songs, wrote some crazy shit. He was really into what I was doing because he liked the 4-track shit I was doing.
Well,
he
yeah,
really
he's from Chico, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
obviously Chico, California plays a big role in like your career too.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
kind of like Humboldt, where and maybe like Minneapolis and some of these places where you have like these satellite towns where you have like people that are like serious fans and collectors of your music and stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
You know, and that's sort of like a byproduct of that somehow. You know, the 1 block radius thing, which
it's a byproduct.
Yeah, for sure. But that group now is no longer really exists, right?
No. I mean, we're not. Shit, we did something. You know, we got a deal in 2008 with Island Def Jam, Mercury. That right there was a whole other level. Like,
Right.
I mean, it was different than any other thing I was doing. Like, just experience wise, with like, you're just in an industry now. You know what I mean? Like where you're like, oh, on fucking planes going here, little jets here and there, and you're doing these radio shows and doing these fake drops. You know what I'm saying? And shit like that. You know what I mean? So it was, and meeting celebrities too, and people I didn't even never think I'd meet. You know what I'm saying? I was like, God damn, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they're all just doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? Like Rihanna, met her, and which was crazy now because she's just like so huge now. You know what I'm saying? I want to say, who else did I meet? I was fucking went to fucking what's her name's house? What's this bitch name? No. Fucking Paris Hilton.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, her crazy ass. But she seemed.
Who was the big? Not to interrupt you, but who was the? You also had like a. Was it Neil Patrick Harris, like a big fan of your work? Right.
He wasn't. He was a big fan of Marty's, but he was and one of his best friends. Right. But he was cool as fuck. Like, I kicked it with that dude, drank red wine and smoked weed. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is before like he started back to blowing up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because now I don't know where the fuck he is. I can't even get in touch with that dude.
You can't get a hit back on the.
Nah, I can't even get a hit back on the text now, man. It's so crazy. Nah, it's like, but I also haven't seen him in years.
Right. It's just another chapter in your.
But he's doing great. It's crazy, man. I remember meeting Fiona Apple at this party, kind of flirting back and forth with her a little taste. Obviously, she remembered who I was, right? So I remember in New York, and you were here. We went into this vegan restaurant. Vaguely remember it. We went into this.
I'm trying to remember.
Well, I was out there, and it might have been a day off or whatever I had, and I was with you and your ex-girl at the time or something, and somebody else, and we were going into this vegan restaurant, and she was walking out, right? Fiona Apple walked out, and she looked at me and went, and then just like floated the other way, and I was like, "What?"
Wow.
I was like, "What happened?" Like, it was weird. You know what I'm saying? Like,
do you think she remembered?
Maybe, but it wasn't like I said nothing crazy to her. I was sober. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing too. I was sober for like damn near 6 years. I knew I didn't. I was at these spots, wilding out, kicking it. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I'm just drunk as fuck, wilding out, kicking it. What's up?
So she kind of dissed you.
It felt like that, but I was like, I didn't chase her down the street. You know what I mean? I just kind of like let it go, whatever, man. That'd be pretty crazy.
If you chased her down the street, it would be very crazy.
If I chased her down the street and said, "Hey, what happened?
What happened to us?
What happened to us? Did I not call you back? Did I do that?" She would have been like, "I don't know. You just seemed like an asshole, and you just didn't hit me, or if it was that, then I would have been like, okay, but it wasn't. It wasn't any explanation, and I didn't act on it either. So I was
I
like,
hope
all right.
that if somehow she's like scrolling through her phone and going through her podcast, and she's like looking for a podcast. She's like got a long flight. She's like they're going to like China to do a show or something.
Right.
Like that. And it's like what do I? I wonder whatever happened to that Z-Man guy at that party.
I know.
He got a podcast. He's on this
Oh,
podcast.
he's on a
though.
podcast.
The House
Oh.
List with Peter Agustin.
Yeah, right?
I'm going to listen to this.
I'm going to listen to this.
And then she hears this exact story.
This story and shit, huh? And
then tracks you down and hits you with the DM on IG.
or IG or Twitter or something, huh?
Right. Oh, speaking of which, is there a fake Z-Man on Facebook? CJ told me about it.
So there's not a fake Z-Man. It's just somebody. I don't want to. I feel funny saying
like a
this.
fan?
Like yeah,
Fan
that.
site? That's all good.
Yeah. So that
I
was
haven't seen it, so I'm just asking.
yeah. So that was a page for a while. It was Word Billy.
Okay.
This person calls itself.
Uh-huh.
And they just had a bunch of pictures of me and shit up there, and just like
Really?
yeah, and like saying all these little things and whatever. And I'm like, God, yeah, that's crazy. Then that's not up there anymore. So now she, I guess I'm gonna say it's a she.
Okay.
She's on IG now. Word Billy, but there's another one that seems a little stronger even than Word Billy. Is Relly Under Fire.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
These are other.
So there's two of them.
Satellite. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
on Instagram, and
Okay.
there's pictures
Of
of
you?
me and little quotes.
Like
you know,
paparazzi style photos of you. Like
I don't know. Not really paparazzi. Just sit there.
Quotes from your lyrics?
It's from the internet. And shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they haven't really posted. I haven't seen no lyrics or nothing yet. You know
Oh,
what I
wow.
mean? But I've seen like the album covers or whatever. You know.
Whoa. That's
And
interesting.
and then just pictures of me.
Wow.
And I'm like, I don't really know what to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna say, "Oh, stop doing it." You know, I just
Is it like on some like fanfare shit? Like
I would say so. That's to be fair and safe with that. Yeah, I would say that because it's like this is crazy, but because I mean that's like you waking up one day and you jumping on IG or whatever the fuck you got, and then you just all of a sudden you see this thing or someone tells you, "Dude, check this out." You look and you're like, "What is this?" Like there's just crazy pictures of you.
Yeah, that's
And-
well, for someone that's not like you see that for like big actresses or actors,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
pseudo-celebrities.
or other rappers,
Right.
or whatever song. Yeah, just it's kind of manny to see that.
Wow.
You know, I don't really know what to do. I'm like, I'm not gonna. These people haven't bothered me.
Right.
They haven't harassed me, so I'm just kind of keeping it cool.
Word. All right. Yeah, I'm just curious. Is that someone told me about
Yeah.
it? CJ told me about it, and as the listeners know, he edits and engineers the podcast. So
Okay.
and I just seen him, and I'm running around a lot, so I don't have a chance to like really get up on the internet like that.
Right.
So I didn't see that. Another thing, if you feel like talking about this or not, it's fine.
What's this?
Is this your battle shit? I was so unhip to that until like 5 minutes ago. Like, excuse me, because like
Yeah, it's
I,
all right.
I got a late pass on this, but so you were like doing some hardcore like rap battle type shit. Mm-hmm. What's the vibe with that?
The vibe of that is crazy. So I'll tell you real quick, man. So I got into this. I like battle rapping.
I mean, it's a full on like micro industry in itself. Like
Yeah, it is. It
people
definitely is.
in that.
People are in it, and it's serious. It's cutthroat. It's very.
It's like some professional wrestling type.
Yeah, it is. You know what? It's professional wrestling. Straight up. I got on the Dirtbag Dan show. Dirtbag Dan's a good friend of mine from back in the day. Rap dude. Down in San Jose. And I got on this show to talk. And I was like, I want to battle.
Yeah,
Like, at least
Okay.
10 battles. At least 10. In my whole,
you
like...
you want to battle at least 10 in your whole life.
Yeah, in my life. I don't need to do any more than that. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot.
Starting with this one right now.
Starting with I did two of them. First one was it was the Battle Royal. So it was me, Cadillac Ron, may he rest in peace. It was Caustic. Shit.
So it's a few other MCs
Joe
and stuff.
Cutter.
Okay.
And my boy Algebra.
I don't know that circuit that well.
Yeah, sure. I mean, just dude, it's cats in just going for theirs, and you rapping for about 3 minutes. around. Like, this is shit you just, either you study or look up them and whatever, or you either, like, just kind of, like, write some shit just insulting them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was, everybody thought I would just be great for this shit.
Right.
Because of my energy, because of everything
Sure.
else. So I got in there, right? And it was right after tour. I was touring with Locksmith and shit on this another Slap Frost. So I got back, and I didn't really get to do a lot of writing, I guess. You know what I mean? So I kind of wrote what I had, and
Like
then
preparation.
preparation, yeah. Got there, I was like, yeah, and I went first, which is crazy. Like, I mean, it was like throwing the amateur with some monsters. You know what I mean? Like, they just threw me in the water with the sharks. So I got out there like, yeah, I'm about to. And the energy of that shit, because it's like a gladiators type style. Like, there's people, like, say it's the middle of this room.
Right.
There's just a bunch of people around you.
Right.
That are ready to hear some very witty, crazy attacks.
And it's filmed. There's multiple cameras.
Oh, it's
right?
filmed, yeah.
What is
The
it?
lights.
Is it in a studio or is it in a venue?
It's like a venue, yeah.
Okay.
Shit's crazy how that is now. It's like so big now.
Yeah.
And and fools are making thousands of dollars.
Right.
So anyway, I'm in the middle, I'm ready to do mine, and I kind of say a few things, and I was like, I started to notice, like, what the fuck am I doing here? It was like, because it's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
It's a whole. It's not like
you
it's not like getting on stage and I just go for it. I've never, like, here's the thing. I never was off like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of was muttering. I didn't know my first round. That's pretty much what it was. So I had to freestyle a lot of shit.
Like truly freestyle.
Yeah,
in the
truly.
sense
Yeah,
of real
yeah,
freestyle
yes,
shit.
yes. And fools do freestyle in these battles too.
Okay.
They'll do these rebuttals that are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
These kids that do this shit do, like, I don't even know the time. How do you even find all that time to do this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just, and these entendres and these assembly. You're like, but that's what makes the game so dope. And the ooh and ahs, you know, because if they hear something, they just like, whoa, you know, they're just blown. So anyway, I get in there and I froze up like a fucking clam. Really, I was like, Then I was trying to do my second round when it came around to me again. I was like, but it was better than my first. Then my third round was way better than my first and second. It was terrible. You know what I'm saying? It was terrible to say the least. Everybody, but I will say this. For as much as everybody, Fredo Algebra, that's who I was thinking about. That was the other fool.
Okay.
So, dude, it was, they could have said way more shit. Way more clowning, you know. But that's why I wanted to battle. I wanted to hear what people were going to say about me.
Sure. All right.
Like, I was interested, like, because I'm going to laugh. I'm going to, you know, the shit's funny.
Right.
You know, it's not like it's serious. Some fools kind of take it to heart, but you're like, dude.
Some people seem to take it very seriously.
Some people do take it serious. But you just got to just be a champ about it and just
Right.
like, hey, it's a battle. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You signed up for this. Like, come on. So I got my ass ripped up a little bit.
What was that like?
It was different. But I felt like more ripped.
Because you've
From-
performed like so many shows.
Yeah,
and, like, recorded
yeah.
multiple albums.
Yeah,
like-
it was just different. I'm a songwriter, definitely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is like, that's all they do.
Right.
No beat, no, you know, nothing to keep them, like, to give them, you know, the morale of even writing something crazy. They just think it all, you know?
Yeah, it's like some extreme sport type shit. You know, like if you know,
It certainly is, yeah.
it's almost a genre in its own.
It is now. Like, it's crazy.
Right.
So I did the second one, which I did a lot better, but still, my third verse was like, I didn't know my third round. And that shit. But the experience of this, dude, I even rapped about the experience in my second battle. You just rap, and the thing is, like, you trying to remember all this shit.
Right.
So you have to write it in a way where you're trained to, like, oh, you're riding this wave, and don't worry, because this word will come up, and you'll know what to say here. Especially when people are like, whoa, you know, you kind of got to go, then you kind of repeat what you said so you can stay on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
So
get it.
shit is crazy, dude. But I'm going to probably do 8 more, and that's it.
What? Yeah, you knocked down 2. So
Knock down 2. I'll probably, my third one will be better, and my fourth will even be better.
Is anything slated?
Not yet. But
Are you gonna need to go down to like the minor leagues and work it out a little bit?
I mean, maybe that's fine with me. I'll battle anybody. Like that's the thing too. Like I don't care who I battle. I just think I need to, definitely come back. But the thing that's the battlers didn't really kill me. It's like the people, what they say on the internet is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Comments.
Like the comments are crazy. Like that's something I've never seen or had like visually to be like, or even against me. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, that's because the stuff that people would say in the YouTube comment is typically nothing that someone would say to another person to their face.
Yeah,
You know, like,
yeah.
You fucking suck. And shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on,
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
fuck out of here with that.
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
You
yeah.
get fucking smack the fuck up if you get shit like that.
Yeah. If it's in my face, it's one thing.
Right.
But no, it's on the internet. And it's on like, but they're just going like saying. But I look at it like this: they just don't know what I do. Like this is, it did suck.
Well, you
but at the
stepped
same
into
time,
their world.
I stepped in it, and you know what the thing is? A lot of cats gave me props for that.
Yeah.
Because they were like, dude, no other rap dude's going to do this because they feel like they'll lose it all or they got too much to lose or
Right.
whatever. And I'm like, really? You don't. You just kind of do this and it's whatever. It's just under your belt. Like,
For
you know
sure.
what I'm saying? Like,
Dude, I totally respect that. For
I mean, I just did it because I like it and
Right.
I wanted to try it. And like I said, I'll do 8 more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Do it.
But
Yeah.
it's just like,
Fuck it,
but
man.
it takes a lot of your time because you have to really set aside a lot of time for that. And these fools do a lot of. I'm like, how do you're just doing nothing else. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like you're just doing this.
They're not like
And
necessarily.
the night of the day they'll do night of, like, or not night of, they'll do it like, oh, I wrote this last night and I'm just trying to get it. I'm like, dude, I can't even fuck around with that.
Right.
And then you gotta call their bluff, like shit's crazy.
That's
Battle
intense.
World is crazy as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a whole other thing. A little intimidating though. I'm not gonna front, but
Yeah,
at the
for
same
sure. I
time,
was intimidated while I watched it.
yeah, yeah, it's crazy. You're like, oh damn, ooh, you know, because you're like,
monster truck gonna pull out and shit.
yeah, right.
Not clowning though, no shots, but I mean it's all good. Like,
Yeah, no, I know, but it's all right. I mean,
yeah. So okay, so we talk. I mean, I just learned about it, so I wanted to bring that up real quick. But I want to know what you're about to go on. So you're about to go on a tour.
yes,
Tonight.
yeah, we leave tonight.
Leaving tonight.
Shit, we
But you're
leave
about you're
tonight.
hot on the heels of a brand new tour, a summer tour.
Yep, summer.
And
Summer.
you did a run a few months ago too, if I'm not mistaken, right? Earlier in the
Yeah,
year.
well, in the winter.
Yeah.
You know,
So that's exciting, going on tour.
it's always exciting.
Is it going to be as fun as the one that we did?
I'm not sure.
Has there ever been one as fun as that?
I don't think so, man. Not yet. Not like that. Nope. That's like, it's like.
You don't have to. Don't lie.
Hey, nah.
You know what? I remember another.
Nah,
thing
I'm gonna just say like that was a good one because I don't know. You know what it is, man? I like going on tour with fools. I just like down to earth people.
Yeah.
Like I might act a fool sometimes, but I'm not, over my head. I'm not, I'm a Leo and shit, but I'm not like a Leo. You know what I mean? Like
No, you're one
I've
of
been
the-
on tons of tours with hella fools, but there's been some good tours, and then there's been some ones that I'm like, oh shit, this sucks. You know what I mean? Because whatever, maybe the middle or the ending. You know what I mean? But
Sure.
But for the most part, they're it's always decent people. It's just
Right.
sometimes people are like, eh? You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
But-
I remember when we were playing in Olympia, Washington, at the
Yeah.
China Clipper, and you did O.J. Simpson and Courtney Love,
Right.
that song, which I don't think you do anymore,
Oh,
probably.
I still do, yeah.
Yeah.
Here and
Oh,
there,
oh, that's
Uh-huh.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I recall very vividly that the bartender called Kurt Cobain's sister and put
Yeah.
the phone up in the air
Yep.
so that she could hear it.
Yeah, yeah, that's
you gotta
right.
hear this song and shit like that, which I always thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I met her twice.
A word?
Yeah, in Olympia.
Oh, no. Wow.
Yeah, Showtime during the
Yeah,
shows
yeah.
and shit. Yeah. So
Interesting.
that's crazy, man. I know. Like, and I wouldn't even thought of that either. You know what I mean? And
Right.
then she just told me about a couple of things and
Cool.
Courtney and shit.
Wow.
Courtney's a bitch, and of
Right.
course, and blah blah blah.
So this tour, is it in support of a project that you got? A new one?
I mean, it kind of is, but it's not. It's just maybe more so like a tour for our annual Slap Frost thing.
Okay, so what's the story with that?
So
What's Slap
basi-
Frost?
Slap Frost is basically a play off of Jack Frost.
Right, okay. That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's in winter time. So now we're gonna do one that's in the summer. And at first I was like, really? The summer? You know what I mean? Like, but there's 3 of us, so
Right.
there's 2 against me.
What's the lineup?
So the lineup is Gavlin, this young chick from LA, and she's kind of on the rise, and she's good too. Then there's me, Z-Man, Z-Maney, Z-Dazzle.
Right.
And then there's Vocab Slick. And then there's a young lady out of, I want to say, the East Bay somewhere, Kayla Love. And she's going to be opening for our tour. And this is her first tour, I think.
Oh, wow.
So, and then there's True Justice DJing for everyone.
DJ, and he's like the tour manager and the booker.
He'll be the
and stuff.
tour manager, yeah. And he books, you know, we kind of help out too, but
I
what
think
we
I
can.
slid him a couple things too.
Okay, cool. Yep. So that's what's going on, and you know,
I'm feeling that. I wanna support, man.
support them, man. Support.
Are you guys coming out to New York City where I live?
We're not going that far because
When are you gonna come out to New York, man? Come on.
you know what? Pretty soon, because I'm trying to. You know, I've been on the West Coast and it's cool, but I need to get back to like doing that. Oh, I'm everywhere shit now. You know what I mean? Again, because I feel like, and I'll say this, like last year, I feel like I almost took a year off or something. It just felt weird. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't do anything really. I did, you know, I had 2 tours canceled, 2 tours I turned down, and then because they were kind of like, I ain't gonna do this little dirt shit. You know, not,
Yeah,
you know,
no, I get it.
and it just wouldn't have been feasible for me, you know. Good people, but and then another one kind of canceled or in the making, and then I just did 1 tour last year. That was it. So I was like, "Fuck, am I doing?" You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
it's good. And then you might have something in the fall too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Fall and maybe winter. So
Wow. Okay, so things are ramping back up. It's gonna get
yeah,
busy.
man, yeah. And then I got a coloring book I'm working on, and
Dope.
fucking you know, some more artwork, and you know, just trying to.
Are you
push-
painting around the city any? Like, have you been?
No, I'm not. You know what?
Not doing that anymore?
I'm not doing that no more. It's just time consuming, man.
You had some pretty cool storefronts.
Yeah, I did, and it just depends if they want to pay me hella money for that.
Can people buy original art from you?
Yes,
Yeah?
absolutely, yeah. All you gotta do is hit me up on my IG.
Oh,
And
yeah?
that's- yeah, Z Maney Z Dazzler, or you can hit me up on Z Dazzler,
Okay.
the one I got locked out of. But I'm getting back in it.
How did that happen?
Dude, this fool, man, had me like try to update my shit, and I didn't.
It's a technical problem.
It was technical because my old email to get in there, I don't have the security codes for.
Oh, it's one of those.
It's one of those, so I have to jump through these hoops to say, "Hey, this is me,
Right.
you know. And they're like, "No, you know, we over here at Instagram won't help you until you send us a email from the original email." You know what I mean? And I'm like, I got locked out of here. I'm trying to, you know what I mean? Like, it's me. It's not, you know, you could Google this. Nah, they're not hearing that
No,
shit.
not
Like,
at all.
they should. They're in bed with Google. Jesus.
Right.
Damn.
Well, I'd love to buy a print from you sometime, or not a
Yeah.
print, but an original piece of art.
Oh, shit.
Is the cover for? Remember the poster for Doper Dog Food?
Yeah.
Was a big poster. Mm-hmm. Is that piece for sale?
It's a small piece.
Is it? Oh yeah,
But it's
the blue
not,
one.
I don't think so. That's
That's
more
too
like,
personal, right?
That's personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little personal. But I have way more other shit than that. I mean, you know, and even that I'm working on. So,
I love the stuff that you've been doing lately because it's a lot of social commentary. Like, there's a lot of heavy stuff in there.
yeah, man, like sometimes you got to do that. You just come to a point where you want to. And I always have to say something in a painting or a drawing
right.
because it's like that's more interesting to me. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what the great masters did. You know what I mean? The great masters.
Right.
But
Are you more like it's primarily acrylics, right?
yes,
Yeah.
I want to work with oils. I just need more room and more time
Right,
for that.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you ever do spray paint shit?
Now that I know how it goes, I haven't.
Right.
But I would like to indulge in that one day.
You're strictly by the brush.
I strictly brush, yes.
What's like your brush cut fucking sizes and stuff? I was gonna try to wow you by what?
My hair fucking
Yeah, what's your hair count? What hair count are you working with?
hair
Man?
count? It isn't. I don't know. Like big brushes, small brushes, very small brushes. Like with maybe a few bristles on it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I don't know, dude. Like, it just depends.
Dope. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I think you're extremely talented painter. I think
Thank
that people don't. They totally sleep on that aspect of it. 'Cause-
Well, I just think they don't know. And then when they found
Right.
out, the thing is, this is what's funny. A lot of painter friends or dudes I even looked like, oh, I think you're fresh, and they kind of got some light. They didn't know I was painting until, they just listened to my albums.
right.
Which is, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of like, oh, shit, okay, I didn't know you were listening. And then they're like, wait a minute, you did this? And I was like, yeah. I'm really modest with that shit. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, oh,
you are.
Yeah, I did that, yeah. And they're like, what? Fuck out of here. What? And I'm like, nah, niggas can draw too. You know what I mean? Like, so that's always been a thing. But now people they're starting to like catch on because now a lot more people they want covers done, they want this done, they want little logo shit, they want me to,
Right.
do whatever I can, and I got a lot of commissions, which is
Good.
crazy because I got this tour going and I'm leaving for like a month and some change. So it's like,
Well, you have your work cut out for you when you get back, then. Man.
yeah, I do, I definitely do, and then I'm gonna try to go to China.
Yeah, I hope that works out.
I hope
to
it
do
works
some
out
shows,
too.
right?
To do some shows, yeah.
Fantastic.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I genuinely appreciate your time. I know you came. We've been trying to hook up and to do this in San Francisco.
Yeah.
It is very meaningful, and you're my man. And I appreciate it, man.
Word, man.
Yeah,
Likewise.
for sure.
Yes.
And much continued success.
Well, I'm looking for this success. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for it. It's in the air. I smell it. I can smell it, and I can taste it. I can touch it, but I just haven't been able to just mud wrestle with it just quite yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's you know what, man? Now that I feel like kind of my legs are back, because there was a few years I was kind of going through it. So, and I think that's just what everybody and with artists, it's a whole lot of different because we just turn so emo and lay in the corner somewhere and just spewed out a bunch of things or draw something or write something that's just like, oh, it's very heartwarming or that's very heartbreaking or damn, they must be going through it. Yep. Then when we're not, we're just like, woo, shit. We're just back to our arrogant selves.
So it keeps you humble and working and always being creative.
Yeah, man, that's all I have. Shit, I mean, I've carved up quite a life here. Yeah, man, I just making a living on it, and that's all I want to do, really. But I definitely feel passionate about what I'm doing, so that helps.
Dope.
Because you don't want to be just the minute it just doesn't get fun anymore, and it's not cool or just to you.
Right.
That's when you can't really. You gotta just say,
Well, yeah, that's kind of why I'm doing this podcast too.
word.
So other things started getting like a little like, man, that's not that fun. And this is fun and rewarding for me because I get to talk to people that I love having conversations with, people that I don't get to see that often, people
Right.
I've never met before. So, and you and I have so many memories. We've done so many shows together and traveled together. And just had a lot of laughs together. So, yeah. Thanks,
I'm
man.
saying, yeah, man, shit, and hopefully more to come.
Yeah.
I'd love you to DJ some more for me though.
I'd love to get back to that,
Because to be honest,
I
man,
know your songs well.
Hey, man, because I'm gonna tell you, man, those were good times.
Oh, for
because
sure.
it's minimum, but it's on point, and it's just like you just got it. Thanksgiving Brown.
Yeah, hell yeah. Thanks, man.
Yep.
Yo, I want to send thank you to my man Z-Man for doing this podcast. Thank you guys for listening. My name is Peter Agostin. I'm the producer and host of the show. Each and every episode is edited by CJ Stewart. Thanks to CJ and all his hard work. Please subscribe on iTunes, repost it on SoundCloud like I mentioned in the intro. Let's get the word out by any means necessary. So I'm going to play 2 songs of Z-Man's on the outro of this show because he has a wide catalog of stuff. It's kind of hard for me to pick. I'm a fan and I love his material, so I picked 2 shorter tracks just because I wanted to play a couple of his joints, especially if you might not have had a chance to hear his stuff or get into everything. So the first one is a joint called Whack Flyers, which is off a record he did with Elon. And the second is a song called Suicide is Played Out with a producer named GPEC. Both of those records came out in the last couple of years. You can find more information at GURP That's GURP City.net. Also, Z-Man has a YouTube page that I would recommend checking out because he has a lot of music videos that I didn't even know existed. So, Official Z-Man, M-A-N, Vivo. Official Z-Man Vivo. Check that out. And if you ever have a chance to see him play, he tours a lot. He tours pretty consistently. In fact, I think he's still on the road right now. I know he just was about to start a tour the night that we had this conversation. So if you have an opportunity to see him live, please do. Especially if you get, outside of California, it's pretty rare. So if you ever have a chance to see him, definitely do it. Thank you again for tuning in. This has been The House List. My name is Peter Agostin. So I'm going to play these two songs back to back. They're both about a minute and a half each. Whack Flyers, Suicide is Played Out, Z-Man, The House List. I'll see you guys next episode.
Suicide is played out. Girl, get out the tub and put the blade down right now. You trying to get your name out, cause you ain't popular. Took a bunch of pain pills, drank all the vodka up. You kept coughing up, barfing up, your pop got up, shook you up, smacked you up. You ain't trying hard enough to take your little young life away from us, lady. What you trying to die for, you fucking crazy? What are you doing? What is you doing, huh? Beautiful. What are you doing, huh? Suicide is played out. Played out. Hey, look. Young kids don't got it together, man. But you ain't gotta try to take your little man. You looking good, girl. You got friends. Life is nice. Suicide is played out. Played out. To be here in the physical is dope. You trying to end it all because you broke. Get your neck up out the rope. There's a 1-800 number. I don't wanna have to call. Take the gun about your mouth, really knock it off. Stay here and suffer with the rest of us. Drink the bad water, eat the genetically modified vegetables, and earn your death with a cigarette. Go and have sex, spread love, take a deep breath. You hey, you trying to kill yourself, man? Look at all these women. I know you gonna jumping out the window. Suicide is played out. You jumping out the window? Man, get with your boy a little bit. I got a sister. I'll show you some pictures of nice girls that might lick your booty or whatever. Suicide is played out. On the guitar, boys and girls, G-Pack.